Hey again. So one of the questions I've gotten at conventions, at webcomics panels, or people coming up to me trying to show me their stuff, things like that, is how do I protect my idea? How do I copyright my stuff? How do I make sure some motherfucker out there doesn't steal my idea and make all the money off of it and things like that? And this is a tough question to ask me because I am not a lawyer and I don't have that background. But if you're going to go into the fiction game, whether it's webcomics, comics, literature, anything like that, movies, you should know that there are only a handful of really original ideas. And perhaps the way you present your idea is unique and maybe you think it's never been done before, but I guarantee you somebody somewhere out there has done a version of what you're doing in some way, shape, or form. Like, I know for a fact that I am not the first person to do an office romance webcomic with minorities in the cast. I know that someone else has done that somewhere else. The thing that's unique about my comic is that none of those other comics have been drawn by me. So that's what you have going for you. That is what is unique about whatever project you have. No one else has drawn your comic because you haven't done it yet, or maybe you're doing it right now. So try to get out of the mindset that your idea is truly unique, because it's probably not. Like, the time for unique ideas in fiction was probably way back in like Homer's Odyssey kind of days. These days, there are so many ideas, there's so many variations. You'll see, I mean, this happens today, even in big movies like Hollywood. You'll see films that have two central themes come out at the same time, and you'll like have like two magic movies coming out at the same time, or there'll be two Truman Capote movies coming out. So I mean, it happens in big budget films, it happens in small budget things, it happens on the web, it happens in webcomics, things like that. So if you're worried about people stealing your original idea, if you think about it, it might not actually be all that original. I'm sorry. Now, in terms of copyright, I highly recommend you talking to someone who is an expert at such things as entertainment law or copyright law. Maybe a friend of yours is a lawyer, maybe a friend of yours knows a lawyer, maybe you are a lawyer, but talk to an expert. Don't talk to a friend who's done stuff, because you know, they might tell you stuff, oh, just mail yourself a copy in the mail and that's, you know, that's the poor man's copyright, or just put the shit on the website and, you know, it's copyright up there. I don't know. Some of that shit might be true, some of that shit might be urban legend, but if you really want to protect your work legally, talk to a lawyer, talk to an expert, talk to somebody who knows about this shit. Just don't do it on the cheap, okay? If you really want to protect your work, and if you're gonna go after people who try to take your work and manipulate it and pass it off as their own, if that is what is keeping you from doing webcomics, you're afraid that someone's gonna steal your shit, talk to a lawyer, spend that money, do it the right way, because that will give you ultimate peace of mind, because an expert will have given you advice and you can take that advice to the bank, and then you can launch your project, you know, have your ironclad contract. So if anyone tries to swoop in and take your shit, and it pisses you off, you can be like, fuck you, I'm gonna sue you, here's my money. Now, my work is protected under Creative Commons, which is sort of a different way of thinking about copyright. So a lot of internet culture takes, appropriates pop culture, television, movies, things of that nature, and turns them into memes and things like that. And Creative Commons is a way of allowing that legally. So there are a couple different licenses under the Creative Commons blanket. I forgot what number mine is. I think it's like 3 point something, whatever. But essentially it allows viewers or other creators to take my content and remix it and present it, as long as they're not doing it for a fee. So as long as someone's not making money off of my work, and as long as they attribute it to me. So if somebody wants to take like a drawing I've done of one of my characters and turn it into an animated thing, they can do so without getting my permission first. They just have to attribute it to me. They have to say, like in the credits, you know, Julie illustration by Jamie Noguchi, and you can find it here. So that kind of thing. So I like, I feel like these days, people are gonna, if people want to take your work and remix it or repurpose it, they're gonna. And you might not always know about it, and you might not be able to track them down. So it's kind of, it's a tough fight to fight if you're gonna be really stringent about your copyright. So Creative Commons gives these people a way to do it in a legal, above board manner. So they can be creative with your stuff, and it's kind of a nice way to give blanket permission to use your stuff. That's a personal thing. You might have different feelings about it. I'm not saying my way is better than your way. I'm not saying your way is the worst way, or if you're really hard on about your intellectual property, you should be. You want to create, you want to protect your products, you want to protect your characters, you want to protect your ideas. But my feeling is that the time for original ideas we're kind of past that. Everything you do is sort of like a amalgamation of other things that you've seen or other things that have influenced you in pop culture and all that kind of stuff. So your idea might be really creative and really unique, but originality is, I don't know, that's my personal philosophy, and it's a good point to argue because other people have other opinions. But Creative Commons is a really nice way to do things, to let people mess with your stuff. There's also, within that group of licenses, there's a version where you can set it so that no one can use your stuff without written permission from you. So it gives you a lot of options. So I highly recommend checking out the Creative Commons website. It's pretty straightforward. It asks you a bunch of questions. Do you want people to be able to remix your stuff? Do you want people to be able to distribute your stuff, but only if they don't change the original source? So that would be like if I let you take a screen cap of one of my comics, but you're not allowed to change anything in it. So there's a bunch of questions it'll ask, and then it'll spit out a license at the end that you can paste on all of your stuff. So that's a really good way to do it. But again, consult an expert if you're really, really concerned. And if that's the one thing holding you back, you can either look into the Creative Commons way of doing things, or you can look into the true, legit copyright way of doing things. But if that's the last thing in your way for getting your comic up there, consult somebody. Talk to somebody who's an expert. Talk to somebody who's done this before. Talk to somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about. Don't talk to me, because I'm not an expert. I haven't studied the law. I don't know some of the finer points of true copyright law. I understand Creative Commons to the point where I feel comfortable sticking it on my site, but when it comes to like real true copyright, that's for somebody else. That's for somebody who's a true expert. So don't take my word for it. Talk to somebody who knows better. All right, so thanks for watching, and I'll check you again later. Bye.